Okay, guys, I am very excited to welcome our next guest to Let's Get Freaky podcast. We've got King Pokemon with us today, guys. Gary, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Tommy. Thanks for asking me to come on. I love what you're doing, and I'm very interested. So this is fun for me too.
Thank you very much, man. It is an absolute honor to have you on the show. I've known about you for a long time. I follow you on Instagram and seen you on YouTube and all sorts. It's a massive honor to have you on the show, man.
Thank you.
So we'll start with the Pokemon if that's okay, because
Sure.
you're the king of Pokemon, so we have to start with that.
Uh-huh.
Where did that start with you? The Pokemon.
Well, for me, it started as a bit of a business thing. Back in 1998, we had several news reports out of Japan, talking about this new game. And by that time, Pokemon was a couple years old, but only in Japan. But things happened, and there were news stories and about the frenzy that this new game, caused throughout the country, throughout Japan. And so I was aware of it. I paid attention to stuff like that. Plus, I've been a lifelong collector, so I was interested in that. And I knew they had trading cards, and they had special promo cards, and they had cartoons, and they had movies. And I said, this is something that could translate over to a very wide worldwide market, because the news stories were going worldwide. But physically, there was nothing. There was no English translation. There was some Game Boy games, but that was pretty much it. So I got involved in a group that brought the Japanese promo cards over to the United States, and those were like the CD promos, the Japanese CD promos and stuff like that. And then we got them on our United States Shop at Home networks, and graded them through PSA, which was the new thing, and sold them through that. Well, and this was all with Media Factory, who produced Pokemon in Japan. This was all with Media Factory's approval. But as soon as it struck hot, which was almost immediately, they canceled me out. And so, got fired. They didn't want, because it was generating so much revenue, they didn't want to share it. And wow. So I was out. But by that time, that's the early part of 1999. My boys were into it. My sons were into it, who were like 8 and 10 at the time, somewhere around there. And they love Pokemon. All their friends already loved Pokemon. This was so immediate that now I stayed involved just to participate with them and what they like to do. Plus, I was a collector anyway. I taught them how to collect things, how to keep things in good condition, because it might make a difference in the future. And of course, in this case, it did.
Yeah.
And and so that's pretty much that's how it all started for me with Pokemon. After that, it was totally as a collector's interest, and wanting to support the hobby, because I had such a big interest in it. And my son soon grew out of it in the beginning, because they found girls.
Yeah.
And that kind of took the place of their early years in Pokemon. But they came back just like everybody did. And,
yeah, we all do. We all come back.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how it got started.
Wow. So you actually played a part in bringing the franchise over at the start?
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, man. We owe you a lot, sir. The Pokemon fans.
Well, if it wasn't me, it would have been somebody, I'm sure.
Wow, man. And then you had obviously Logan Paul turning up at your house with a massive amount of money.
Yeah, that's many years later, though. for that was like 2018 or something. But, for those 20 years in between, I was very active in Pokemon in the community, and mainly as a collector. I mean, I would buy and sell and mainly trade to build up my collections, which is what I did with everything for 50 years. So yeah, but the Logan Paul, situation that came many years later, and which I'm grateful for too. It brought a lot of interest to the hobby. Everybody knew Logan because of his influencer status, and so that I knew that would help the hobby too. And everything I've done for all these years has been things that I thought would support the hobby, and I'm not taking credit for that, but maybe a little bit because it's been my focus. Because I enjoyed it. I wanted everybody to be familiar with it or enjoy it. And so, I did it because I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
But it caught on. So maybe that helped, drive it forward.
Awesome, man. So your collection, you must have them all. Have you got all the cards?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
There's a few of the extremely rare ones, especially the Japanese ones that I don't have, because I just didn't have a lot of interest throughout the years in those. I could have gotten everything if I would have been interested, but I wasn't collecting to get everything. I was collecting what I enjoyed and filling all my sets. And so there's others that have a more comprehensive collection, meaning one of each. For me, I have dozens of some. So, I mean, it's maybe I have the biggest overall collection in the world. And I would probably know that because I have contact with all those guys. And but I don't necessarily have one of every single English card like David Person has, who probably has the most comprehensive English collection, but he just has one of each.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, he would go to the conventions. I'd see him at the Worlds, Pokemon Worlds, and I mean, he'd be all over the place trying to get the winners to sell them their trophy cards, their first place, second place, third place. I mean, he worked really hard all these years to build that collection, and so I respect the heck out of that. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So good family man.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I had, obviously, when I was younger, going back to the 90s, I had a decent collection. I had a book, and I had a Charizard. I don't know if it was a first edition. I can't remember, but it was in good condition. I had loads of great cards, and they just got thrown out someday. I don't know if it was my mum or dad. I'm not going to blame them, but someone got rid of them, and it still haunts me to this day because I wish I still had them cards. But I've recently started collecting again because I love it, and I think it's I don't think I'll ever catch you up, sir, but I'm having fun. I enjoy it. I love Pokemon, so it's just the nostalgia of it for me as well. It takes me back to being a kid, and I love it. My kids are into it, so I think it's great.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty common story, where the parents threw out the cards because, back then they may not have had the same value. They obviously had a lesser value, and so that happened, of course, a lot. And then also coming back into it is a pretty common story too, because you're trying to recapture your memories as a kid, especially when you have young kids of your own. You look at them through your eyes, through the eyes of a 10-year-old, and you can identify and you get those warm, good feelings back. And so I think that's the resurgence of Pokemon. It's never gone away, but I mean, the amazing resurgence, a lot of it has to do with young people in your age range, who are reaching back for those good times and reaching back for those great memories, and they're there. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and you know what? You have two kids, right?
I've got three kids,
Oh, you have three.
two girls and a boy. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, 20 years from now, your kids are going to be here on YouTube talking about Pokemon, talking about how their dad shared the experience with them, and maybe they'll interview me.
Yeah, for sure,
sometime.
man. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mhm.
It's an art because it's so cool having you on the show. I told all my friends before because I knew I was going to be talking to you, and they was all like,
Uh-huh.
"Wow, oh my gosh, you got to ask him this, you got." So everyone loves Pokemon still, every
Yes.
age group. Sorry, my
Yes.
Siri's just come up. Let's get rid of that. Sorry about that, sir. My Siri just came up there. Even my Siri's getting excited.
Right.
So I know we said about it before. You get asked this all the time, but what is your favorite Pokemon? I've got to ask you.
Well, Venusaur is my favorite. The base set,
Okay.
Arita's base set artwork of the Venusaur is my favorite.
Cool.
Secondly, Charizard.
Yeah,
Most
Charizard.
people would think Charizard because of my Charizard collection,
Yeah.
but it's actually Venusaur. I love the look of that character, um, especially the way Arita drew the original one.
Yeah. The artwork's amazing. I love all the cards artwork. I think even the new cards that are coming out, the artwork is beautiful stuff.
They did a good job. Satoshi Tajiri, the founder of Pokemon, he did a terrific job in the beginning by hiring the right people to do the artwork, because that is a challenge. And there's good artists and there's not as good artists. He did a great job on vetting artists and getting the right ones on board for his for the beginning. But then again, he's a real focused technical person, and so those little details mean a lot to him, and so that's why I think that's why he went above and beyond the normal vetting processes, and I mean he just did a terrific job.
Yeah, it's awesome work. I just get the
Yeah.
cards out and just stare at that. I love it.
Yes.
You said about your Charizard collection. Is that still you still got all them cards? Do you still get people coming to you and trying to buy them off you all the time? And
Oh my God. Especially, people pretty much left me alone for 15, 18 years because they knew I didn't sell. I didn't want to sell those. Not my Charizards. And I've gotten up to about 125 Gem Mint Charizards, and they're all vintage.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, people have tried for a long time, but then when the Logan Paul situation came along, and I could tell it would change the Pokemon world if I sold him one, with his 20 million followers and all this stuff. I decided to sell him that one, which you might have seen on the video, on his video that he did. And now that kind of opened the floodgates a little bit as far as getting requests, for my cars. They said, I thought you never sold anything, blah, blah, that. And I said, yeah, but I knew how much this would help the hobby, how much this would, what this would do for the hobby. It's the same reason I did the Pawn Stars episode in
I was going to say that.
2016. I had no intention of selling, but I knew it would draw a lot of attention to Pokemon. So just about everything I've done and do is for that purpose.
Yeah.
And the Logan thing was certainly a big one. And then soon after, for the same reason, Steve Aoki, who's actually a friend and neighbor of mine, he's a DJ, world famous DJ. He said, well, you sold Logan one, and they're friends. He said, so anyway, so I ended up selling him one. And so that's two of the Gem Mint cars out of that collection I sold. just for the good of the hobby. And of course, it increased the value of all the rest. So it's not like I lost any money, but it's not like I made any either, because I never sold any more anyway. So I would say that that's the, those, I have all of them except maybe just those two still.
Yeah. It's really cool that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
I would make you an offer, but I can't afford that right now.
Well, I'd hate to tell you no.
Yeah,
So.
I don't think you would. Maybe one day.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's amazing what you've done for the franchise. I mean, I love it. It really is.
And
cool.
you want to know something interesting? With all that's gone on this last 25 years, I've never gotten so much as a thank you from TPCI, which is the Pokemon Company International.
Really?
They're the only contact I've had with them in 25 years was from their attorneys about this uncut sheet that I had. And it wasn't a positive experience, right?
Yeah.
And so, even with all that, I've never had so much as a thank you from the Pokemon Company.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's very clear that you've played a massive part in probably the reason why I'm collecting cards again, to be honest. I mean, it really is. And I'm here in the UK, and I know a lot of people in the UK, my age group as well, are collecting. So
Right.
I think they owe you a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, well.
Yeah, man.
They never even sent me one Pokemon pack.
That's crazy. That is insane. Wow. Because you've actually got a Pokemon card yourself now, haven't you? I've seen it.
I have a couple of my
cool.
own promos, a couple of our charity promos.
Yes. Awesome.
And those I've sold internationally. When I appear, I've appeared in Paris, France a couple times in the last year, and then in Italy one time. I had special promo cards made up for those countries with me in them, and featuring Pokemon and Metazoo in this most recent one from a few months ago, with a Charizard and a Mothman, in the picture.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And so that was a that was to benefit our Autism Instruct charity, and did very well. I'm so grateful for that. It's really helped the charity get off the ground and get some of the the special services and stuff we're doing in place.
Awesome. And it's awesome artwork as well.
Beautiful job they did.
Yeah. Well, Gary, this is a paranormal podcast. So I want to talk paranormal with you as well.
Sure.
Have you had any paranormal experiences?
Well, being a child of the 60s, we had a whole bunch of that, back in the 1960s, with LSD and all that. So
yeah.
It's hard to differentiate, what what happened. But I can tell you this, that there's a lot of things that I haven't seen, that I believe in. And that, number one is our faith, our faith in God. Well, I've never seen God, but I couldn't believe in him more. And there's a lot of things I've never seen I totally believe. So even though I haven't had a personal experience, I do know this, that it says in the Bible, there's a lot of things that we haven't seen yet, yet they're there. In that we don't know everything, we haven't seen everything. And I think to say that there is no, paranormal activity is a little presumptuous to say that. It's almost like saying, well, I know it all, and that's not there. That couldn't be further from the truth. It's kind of like believing in creatures from outer space. again, we're one little grain of sand in the overall picture of the universes and in that. And it's presumptuous to say that we're it,
Yeah.
in this vast expanse. So I don't think there's any question that these paranormal activities exist, that the aliens exist. I don't think I think it's crazy to think they don't, honestly, and presumptuous to think that we know it all and that there isn't any. For anybody to be a complete denier, they can say they never saw it, but to say it doesn't exist is a whole different story.
Yeah, for sure. Because so many people have experiences. I've had experiences personally myself. I talk to hundreds of people that have had experiences, and
Right.
and so I mean to say everyone is wrong is pretty crazy.
True. Yes. Well, it's like our here in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have Area 51, and
Yeah.
Area 51 is real close to us here.
Have you
And
been there, sir? Do you go down there?
they won't let you in the gates. Yes, I have been down there and seen the perimeter, but they don't let you in, which is interesting in itself. But there's no question that that stuff exists, but does it exist there? Of course, we don't know. Does the government know more than they say? Very, very likely. But even if they don't, it doesn't. Like I said, it doesn't matter. We're one little grain on the beach, and there's so much more out there. How in the world can we say something doesn't exist out there? Right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, even as recording this episode, this
Mhm.
week there's been a lot of talk on the UFOs on the mainstream media.
Yes.
And even in Vegas, I believe there was um, a family have claimed that a spaceship's landed in their garden. I don't know if you've seen that. That was literally
I'm
this
not.
week. I don't know if it was a spaceship or they found entities in their garden.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not far from you, Gary.
Right. That's
You got
right.
to
I
keep.
wish it would land over here
Yeah.
in my back. I have a big backyard, so
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Have you ever seen any UFOs or anything like that being so close to Area 51?
Well, there's not being that smart of a person. I'm not. I don't know everything that goes. What things are, and I've seen a lot of things I didn't know what they were. Sure, things flash across the sky and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it's frustrating, especially when you're a curious type. It's frustrating, not to have those answers. And I would just like the type of evidence to come out that would convince the unbelievers. That's what I would love to see, or the non-believers.
Yeah.
Because if something could come out to convince them, that would, then we could move forward and really dig into it and be a part of it. Our generations now. But until that happens, you're going to have those. And it's a little frustrating, but I mean that's life. That's how life is. But at some point, something's going to happen where everyone's going to actually see the light, and then we can move forward. With what we should have been doing all these years. We can
Yeah.
move forward, digging into it more, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like that's coming. People are talking more about it. The subject seems to be more open. So it feels like we're getting closer to disclosure.
Yeah, well, with projects like what you're doing, I mean that helps. Because you're going to get people here and there popping in, and you're going to say or do something that's going to increase their interest. And I think that's really what it is. Educating people that we have not seen it all. As simple as that. We haven't seen it all, and things you're going to show or say that's going to convince somebody, or going to make somebody a little more curious. What happened to curiosity anyway,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, in these years. And so you're going to increase that. So people who do what you do and promote it the way you do, I think is beneficial, and is getting us one step closer to, to the, true realization.
Yeah. Oh, cool, man. Thank you very much. You said on your card you've got a Mothman.
Yes.
That's cool. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
cryptids.
Yeah. Mothman is my wife's favorite. In fact, I have a couple paintings right down here, acrylic paintings. One of just Mothman, and then one with Mothman, which is my wife's favorite cryptid, and Joint Snake, which is my favorite cryptid.
Oh,
And
wow.
intertwined amongst the, I don't know, maybe I'll take you over there.
Yeah, I'd
I
love
don't
to
know.
see it, man. Yeah.
I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man.
let me see. And this is right off our living room, so it shows you
Yeah.
I am a real enthusiast. Like, there's the
Oh,
Mothman.
wow. That is awesome art. Wow. For the guys that are listening, that is absolutely awesome. It's sort of like a Pokemon card in a way.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then here's another one on the other side of the hallway. It's a Mothman and then Hoop Snake. I don't know if you can make it out.
That's cool. Yeah, that is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
it goes to show you that I'm not just talking. I
yeah,
mean,
no,
I love this stuff. And it's
yeah,
also
man.
the whole reason. It's also the whole reason I got interested in the card game MetaZoo, because it was dealing with, real characters, not
Yeah,
like Pokemon, where Pikachu, those were all made up in somebody's head.
yeah.
MetaZoo is all cryptids that already have a history and already have a fan base in that. And so,
Okay.
and you can see my hat, MetaZoo.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but and to be transparent in a good way, I have no financial interest whatsoever in MetaZoo. Yes, I know the owners. I've advised. I collect MetaZoo but I collect everything, whether even Akora and stuff that hasn't taken off. But I'm very interested in MetaZoo, but I have no financial interest. So that's important for people to know, that I'm not a partner. I'm not just talk. I don't need to talk. I'm 70 years old. I've accomplished my goals. I have my beautiful collections. I don't need to talk and make things up. I don't need to support things I don't really, love, or the people that do them that I love. So I think MetaZoo, especially for people in your, in your communities, MetaZoo, how do you not love that, right?
Yeah, man. I need to
It
get on this.
plays, yeah, it plays right. It plays right into it, and
Yeah.
and
So
mhm.
is this the same as Pokemon cards, but obviously it's cryptid, so Bigfoot, Dogman, and all things like that?
Yes, exactly,
Wow. I need to get on
right.
this, man.
In fact, my daughter, Akara, she's 8 years old, has autism, but she's very, interested in things like that too. And like
Yeah.
most autistics, she's very focused on artwork and things like that. Well, the founder of MetaZoo, Michael Waddell, he had her draw him a cryptid, any cryptid she wanted. And so we picked one from Nevada here, something called Tahoe Tessie from Lake Tahoe, one of one of the biggest lakes in the country.
Okay.
Tahoe Tessie, she drew Tahoe Tessie. He had one of his other artists do the background, and he put out a promo card for our charity.
Awesome.
And put out and so it's at the bottom, it has down Akara and Pancho, who's the guy who did the background for her artwork. And it sold 15,000 cards in 1 hour.
Wow.
Sold out in 1 hour. And
wow,
every nickel Michael Waddell put into the Autism Instruct charity. So it kind of tells you what kind of a person he is.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome.
I mean, we're grateful for that, of course. And I can say that our little girl is the youngest TCG artist, there is. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and the only collaborative artwork that has ever been done for MetaZoo or even Pokemon. I don't think there is any collaborative artworks.
No.
So it's kind of a special thing for us, something that she'll take into life and always remember. And
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So the cryptid your daughter drew, can you tell us a little bit about that cryptid? Because I've not heard of that one. I'm interested to know.
It looks a little bit like Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
The shape of the head, the length of the neck, in that, and anybody interested can look the card up. Just put in or just look the character up. Tahoe, Tahoe, Tahoe Tessie, Tessie.
Awesome.
And so they can see what the character looks like.
That's
also
cool.
they'll probably see the card because that shows up near the top of the Google searches and that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I find that fascinating. You say about you. So Las Vegas has got its own Nessie creature. That's cool.
Right.
I find it interesting because there's so many of these creatures all around the world. People just think the Loch Ness is just one, but there's hundreds of these things, whatever they are.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Every country has their cryptids and their legendary characters, and so that should tell us something right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So your favorite cryptid, what one was that again?
A joint snake.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one? Because I'm not sure if I've heard of that.
A joint snake is it's a regular snake, but then if you cut it up with a knife into sections, it'll come back together. It'll grow back together. And there's a legend that says that if one of the sections of the snake gets separated from the body, then the knife itself becomes a part of that joint snake's body. So there again, anybody can look up joint snake and see what it looks like and what his legend is, and it just to me on the card they have holofoils and reverse holofoils. The holofoils, the background is a holo. The reverse foils, the character is a holo, and the background isn't. And I love the reverse holo joint snake because the pieces of the snake are holofoil and in different places on the card artwork. And I just found that so fascinating. I just love the look of that.
Yeah.
And besides the legend of the character, I love the looks of that reverse foil, the aesthetics of the card.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely got me collecting something else now because I'm going to be buying these cards. That's absolutely awesome, man.
Oh, I think it's right up your alley.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I am going
to. And your listeners too. I mean,
yeah.
What would you in this today, what would I rather look at? A picture of Diglett or a picture of the Piazza bird or Bigfoot or any other cryptid?
Yeah.
It's a lot cooler. It's a lot cooler looking at these cryptids,
Yeah.
especially with the artworks were done so well and the cards made so well. I just love that. It's my
Yeah.
new love. MetaZoo's my new love, and for
Awesome.
no other reason than it just hits me. It's kind of like Pokemon hit me in the late '90s. That's how MetaZoo has hit me, and
Wow.
so
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
I don't think my wife's going to be happy. I'm going to be collecting something else now as well. But it's too late. It's done.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Has anyone in your family or anyone close to you experienced anything paranormal?
Huh. Not that I've necessarily heard. My wife, I lived and worked in Vietnam for a while. I was the director of a resort right on the South China Sea. And my assistant director ended up being my wife.
Oh,
And
okay.
so she is Vietnamese, and they have a lot of, I think somebody would say legends, of legends. Uh, so that's a question I'd have to ask her.
Yeah.
I know I know that she's a lot more interested in the MetaZoo characters than she was in the Pokemon characters. So does that come from somewhere? I'm not sure. I have to ask her. I'll ask
Interesting.
her that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me know if she
I
if
will
she
do
gives you any
that.
information. That'd be cool.
Yes, that's right. Hmm.
Gary, this has been absolutely amazing talking to you and meeting you, sir. It's been
Well,
an
thank you.
absolute honor having you on the show.
Well, it was so nice of you to ask and your patience on working around my schedule to get it to happen. I appreciate it. And maybe a year from now we can do it again
Yeah, for
and
sure.
compare notes and things like that. I'd really enjoy that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh man, that would be awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Can you can
Thank
you
you
tell
also.
can you tell the audience where they can find you?
Yeah, well, on Instagram, I have two accounts. One is Real King Pokemon. That's the main account only because I'm kind of known for that. And then King MetaZoo. I'm also King MetaZoo. And so that shows some of my MetaZoo, collectibles and things related to that. So I do have a YouTube, but I'm not super active on it. And that's King Pokemon.
Awesome. Well, Gary, thank you so much, sir. It's been an absolute honor.
Thank
And
you, Tommy.
you're welcome on Let's Get Freaky anytime.
Deal. That's a deal. All right. You
Thank
take
you very
care.
much, sir.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm just gonna stop recording.